How's it going, everybody? Tom here with Keto Lifestyle, and today we're going to be making a keto potato chip. Now, potato chips were one of the hardest things for me to give up when I started keto, and I've been looking for a long time for a good substitute for them. And what I found is that jicama works pretty well. Now, you have to be careful with jicama because 150 grams does come out to 5 net carbs. But this is the closest thing you're going to get to a potato chip, and for me, sometimes it's worth it. But if you're going to do this, make sure you weigh it out before you fry it and you know exactly how much you're going to eat. So with that, let's get started. So the first thing you're going to need to do is peel your jicama. The skin on a jicama is really thick and it's not going to fry very well, so you're going to want to peel this off. What I found, instead of using a potato peeler, the best thing to do is to get a real sharp knife and chop off both ends and then kind of peel it off. So I'll go ahead and show you how I do that. Take off this end. So we got that gone. And take off this end. From there, I just kind of grab a hold of it and it just kind of pulls right off. You might need a potato peeler for the last little bit, but I found that at least with the peeler that I have, it just doesn't work very well. So I'm going to go ahead and finish pulling this off, and I'll check back into you guys once it's peeled. Alright, so now that our jicama is peeled and I've got rid of the scraps, I think it's time we should add the oil to our pan. I'm going to use coconut oil, and I have a little bit in the pan from some frying we did yesterday when I was trying this out. But you're going to need about ½ inch of oil, so I'm going to need to add a little more. Like I said, coconut oil is cheap and we have it on hand, plus it's pretty good for you. So we're going to go ahead and add a little bit more. For myself, it seems like to get ½ inch in this pan, I need about 1 cup of oil. Alright, so in order to heat this up, I find that medium-low works the best because you don't want to get the oil too hot. You want it around 400 degrees. So for me, that's about 3 on my gas stove. So I'm going to stick it on 3 and wait for this oil to melt. Now, while the oil is coming up to heat, we're going to go ahead and slice out the jicama. Now, I found that a mandolin works best. I've tried doing this with a knife, but you just can't get them as consistent as you'd want. So we're going to go ahead and use this mandolin here and get it sliced up. Alright, so now we're going to want to weigh out 150 grams of this stuff. So I'll just grab a little chunk here. We're at 112, 120, 134-ish, and 154. Good enough. Alright, so now our oil has come up to 400 degrees according to my little thermometer that I've got probed in there. If you're using a thermometer, make sure it's not actually touching the pan, that's only floating in the oil. So we're going to go ahead and throw these in. Unfortunately, I don't have a fryer, so I'm using a pan, and I can only fit so many in there at a time, but we're going to go ahead and toss these little guys in. I think I can do about 3 at a time in here. And you're going to fry these until they're kind of a golden brown color. You will notice that they're going to shrink quite a bit when they're frying. Alright, so once they're kind of looking like this, you're going to go ahead and pull them out. The thinner spots may brown like around the edges faster, but that's okay. It doesn't taste too bad when they're brown like that, but you really want the center here to be cooked all the way, otherwise it gets kind of gummy in your teeth. So I'll go ahead and pull these out. This one here is not quite ready yet, so we'll give it another second. But as soon as they're out, we go ahead and just sprinkle a little bit of salt on them. I'll actually go ahead and do that. Now, I know people will put, like, you know, other seasonings on their chips, and feel free to add whatever you want, but I feel that they taste great just with salt on them. I'm going to add a few more to the pot. I'm actually going to cook up the rest of them, and I'll check back with you guys after they're all cooked. But just make sure you're kind of flipping them, that way you can make sure that both sides are browning and nothing's burning. So let me get these all cooked up, and then I'll show you guys the finished product. So I went ahead and fried up the 150 grams that we had. You end up with about 15 potato chips, which is 5 net carbs. I'll go ahead and put the macros for these on the screen somewhere right here. And you guys can be the judge if it's worth it. For me, having a potato chip addiction, it's worth it sometimes. So I'm going to go ahead and give you a little taste test. Here we have the finished product. I went ahead and added some guacamole and some cheese dip here. But this comes out to about 38 to 40 grams cooked of the 150 grams that we started with. But let's go ahead and give it a little taste test here. I think I'm going to start with one without any sauce. They're really good. They're like the best substitute I have found on keto for a potato chip. I will say there's a hint of sweet that comes through with them. But let's try it with the cheese sauce next. Got a little cheese sauce on there. It'll definitely scoop a thin dip. Now let's try a thicker dip like guacamole. So the chip has a little trouble scooping there, but I'll try a different one in a second. Now what I will say is you do get a little bit of the sweet from the jicama whenever you dip it in something, but it's not unpleasant. It still tastes pretty good. Now let's try a different chip to see if that was just a fluke there. Yeah, this one's holding up a lot better in the dipping process. These things are awesome and I could eat them all day, but I'm not going to because there are 5 carbs in every serving and that can add up very quickly. So if you are going to make these, just make sure you measure things out raw and, just be careful with the quantity that you eat. But with that, I'm going to go ahead and close out this video. If you have not subscribed yet, please feel free to do so. If you liked the video, leave me a like. And if you have any suggestions or comments, go ahead and leave them in the comment section below and I'll do my best to respond to you. So I'll talk to you guys later.